I'm sharing another video from the series of interviews I've conducted with Rachel Virginia Hicks. She was born in 1926 in Cherokee County, North Carolina. In this portion, she talks about early train travel in the Junaluska and Andrews sections of Cherokee County. That was in the days when Ritter Lumber Company laid tracks all across the mountains so that they could transport the logs that they were harvesting. She discusses the first jobs that her and her husband Lewis had when they were really young before they were married. She also tells the story of his draft deferment during World War II so that he could work on the completion of Fontana Dam. You can find the link to the playlist of interviews with Rachel in the description below, and please do drop back by often so that you won't miss the next installment of this series.
The railroads used to go up through there too, you know, from Andrews up Junaluska and across the mountain and down where the lake is, where the, you know, go across, you know, you go up Junaluska, go up and turn, go across that road. Anyhow, you went up by where those houses are up through there now, and then you went across the top of the mountain, come down and went right down to where the lake is over to go on over to Cherokee. Can't remember. Well, where was it? I told you to make me remember where the train went to after it went up Junaluska.
Did you go to Winding Stairs?
Winding Springs. Winding Springs. Back up. Yeah, that's where.
Okay.
That's where the train went to.
And they had CC camps over in there also, didn't they?
What, honey?
Didn't they have CC camps over in the Winding Stairs?
I don't know. I don't remember where the Winding Stairs were.
Remember Daddy used to take us groundhog hunting over there?
At Winding Springs, Mama's sister lived over where the train went to. I know they cut the timber back in there, and then they moved the railroad out. That was in the 30s. About, I believe it was 37, because Gene, my brother, was a baby. He wasn't, I don't think he was walking yet when they took the railroad out.
Did you ever ride the train, or did you like to see it go by or anything?
Yeah, we got to them men on that train. There's Wilsons.
Yeah?
Most of them.
Yeah.
One of them was Uncle Charlie, and one of them was Bill, and there's a Paul Vault, and shucks, there's another one that was Daddy's good friend. I know he'd been to our house and brought his son. He's about my age. Shucks, can't think of his name, but yeah, they went. Some of them moved here, and their children went to school with us. From where the train people came from. I hated to see it go. We did.
And so it was just to haul logs, basically, haul timber out.
That's well, honey, the food. They brought the food in on a train to Andrews. That's the way the food got here then.
Yeah.
And I know there's anything there was to get, they brought it on a train. And I know this. I can't think of her name. Miss Pierce's sister that died. Anyhow, they had brought her casket up. As they come back, said they go to town in the morning, come back up for evening.
They bring it.
That's the way they got the food. All the way across to the mountains. Back that's the way they got everything in.
What did they call that railroad train? What did they call that?
I don't know.
Was it the Peavine?
Peavine? Was that the Peavine train? Is that what they called that one?
No. Now the Peavine train was the one that went down through the other direction, Murphy and through there. There's a Peavine, some went back that way. But this was the Ritter Lumber Company.
Okay, the Ritter
Lumber Company.
Ritter Lumber Company. Yeah, I've read a lot about them.
That's who come in here and did this. The men, there's men families, move their families, some of them move their families in here, you know. Like the engineer, some of the engineers, and the brakemen, you know, they had to have brakemen up on top to turn the brake to when it's going down the mountains to keep it slowed down. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Bill Gillen was that other.
There you go. You thought of it. Yeah.
Bill Gillen,
Bill
yeah.
Gillen. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hated to see him go. And that Ann Vault, and what you call, married one of them Vault boys that came in here. But
So once they left, they didn't pull the tracks up. They just left the tracks there, and then they rotted away, or did somebody get them?
No, they when they was moving out, as they started over yonder where it started from, stopped. I mean, going this way, but they started taking that steel up and putting it on the big. You know, they had these big old long.
Cars,
I guess you've seen them with big old long. Just a big old bed, like
a flatbed,
flatbed, yeah. It was, they'd take it up and put it on there, but they didn't take the cross ties. You know, they just took
left them.
they took all
I guess they was going to take it to another mountain and use it somewhere else.
Take it with them because it's expensive. You know that metal.
Yeah. I know. I'm okay. I want you some water.
Bring you some water, Mom.
Go. Yeah.
She's licking her lips.
Yeah. I've talked her to death.
My lips, my mouth, that's some of the.
Yeah. I love to hear the old stories and the old tales. Yeah.
Well, how far did you and Daddy go in school, Mama?
I went to the 6th grade, and I think your daddy went. I think he must have went to the 8th grade, because I think he must have. I know he went through the 7th grade. I think. And I don't know where he went in 8th grade or not. Can't remember.
Why did you quit school?
I went to the 6th grade. That's when John, my brother, was born, and I quit school.
Because you needed to help with him?
Well, no, I had to, there wasn't nobody to help Mama.
Yeah, right.
And I
You
had-
need to help her.
Yeah, and that's other, you know. And I started staying with people. I started, Miss Taylor, you know, where you go into Andrews, that brick house up there, when you get to the bridge here where you go into Andrews, the bridge up here, that houses up in that brick house, and there's some more. That Miss Taylor, she had boarders that come and worked when they built this dam over here at Nantahala.
Yeah.
They built some, you know, going down Dix Creek, we call it.
Yeah.
Down towards where that bridge is over there, in Apple Tree Fields, we call that the Apple Tree Field.
Yeah, I've been up there.
Men came in and worked on that over there, and they boarded her house, and I helped try to get up at 3:30 in the morning and pack their lunches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What did you pack them? What did they eat?
All kind of sandwich stuff she'd get. She'd get different kind of sandwich foods, and I'd pack their lunches. And then I'd help. I'd make beds. And she had a daughter that's my age.
Yeah.
She had some more daughters that was married, and one of them had just gotten married when I started working there. And Louise and Howard. She married Howard. I can't remember his last name, but Grady and the other one already lived there, was married. And Ruth was her daughter's name. She's still in school. Her and Jim got killed in the Second World War. Her brother Jim did. He was he's older than we were, me and Ruth.
How many boarders would stay there at a time? Like 4 or 5 or more than
Yeah,
that?
there wasn't a whole lot. I guess there's 6 or 7, maybe, something like that was staying there then at one time. And then there's some more. When they left, there's another man came that was, I don't know where he was working, him and his crew that stayed there. But then you had to wash all them dishes.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't have paper cups and paper plates.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have to do their washing, or did they do their own washing?
They took their laundry to the laundry.
Okay.
Laundry, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But,
So when your husband, Lewis, when he quit, what, did he just go to work too? When he quit school?
he joined CC camps.
Okay, yeah.
Just a little while. Well, quick as he got 17.
Yeah.
He wasn't hard. His brother, Irvine, was in CC camps, and I think it's 2 years.
Yeah.
And he'd been and when he come out, Lewis signed up and went to CC camps.
Yeah.
He was CC camps when they got married.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
See, they dressed just like the soldiers did. They wore uniforms.
Yeah.
And they done the practices like they did, you know. They had to exercise and march.
Yeah.
They done everything but handle guns.
Yeah.
And so when that Second World War started,
Yeah.
that's the ones they latched on to, because they said, they'd asked them
If you'd been in a
if
CC camp.
if there's hunters,
Yeah.
you know, because they know most of them hunted,
Yeah.
and they'd
Yeah.
asked them. They asked them, said, "Do you hunt?"
Yeah.
And they know if they could hunt, they could.
Yeah, use
They
a
know
gun.
how to kind of
Yeah.
handle guns, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They grabbed them up,
Yeah.
but they started that Fontana Dam then.
So did you ever go, talking about Fontana, like the places that are under it, Judson and those places, did you ever go visit any of those little towns that are now covered up?
No, we lived right up above the water line, right up above where the dam.
Yeah.
You went up the road, and we was up here, and the water line was up here where the water come up to.
Yeah.
When they get the dam built,
Yeah.
we lived up there.
Yeah.
That's
What did people back then, like everyday people, what did they think about the dam? Did they think it was bad, or
no,
they thought it was
they
good?
They was tickled to have some work. I reckon
Right.
they put a lot of people to work, because
Yeah.
they hauled. Joe Brown had a bus over in Andrews, and he hauled people from Andrews. And then there's a man that eye doctor I go to over Hayesville. We was talking about that, and he said, yeah, he lived in some part of Georgia. He told somebody over there that fixed a truck and put tarpaulins on it and fixed it, and hauled men from over in Georgia to work on that dam.
Fontana,
Yeah. And Les was working on the Fontana Dam, and they called him up. They called him up one time, and he went, and they sent so many. They didn't have places for them. See, they had to build
The barracks or whatever.
everything,
Yeah.
and clothes and
Yeah.
food, and
Right.
they had a lot to get together,
Yeah.
buddy, to get
Yeah.
that to going. Yes, and they sent 3 bus loads back, and he was one of them in that 3 bus loads. So we'd left from over at Fontana and come home up on Junaluska with his sister and her husband, and helped them plant corn and beans, and helped them hoe it, you know, and get it ready. And he said, I don't know how long we waited. He waited a month or so to see if it's going to call him back. And they did. And he said, I'm going back over and see if they'll let me go to work. So he went over there and asked him about going back to work. And so they had his record where he's in CC camps.
Yeah.
And then they had his record where he had worked there on the dam.
Yeah.
And this man told him, said, we're going to have you deferred. And so they never did call him back.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he worked there till the dam was finished.
Yeah.
He worked till it was finished, and the concrete had to come down, you know,
Yeah.
where they built the farm.
Yeah.
So they asked who would volunteer to
take that down.
Yeah. And he said, there's a man that run a crane, you know, them big old crane. He said, if you was to give me that man, and that crane, it's running that crane right there. He said, I'll do it. And he did.
Wow. Well, they probably thought they deferred him because they needed Fontana for the war effort too.
Well, that was the main thing, to get that dam built.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's supposed to take 7 years to build that dam.
Yeah.
And it's built in 3 years.
I know. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. If they hadn't got that dam built that length of time, you know, that was what the warrior who was that's fighting then would have dropped a bomb. They ain't no telling where we'd have been.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
But that's what they're doing to get. That's what made to get that bomb that stopped the war.
Yeah.
That's what did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, when he was in CC camps, they taught him how to handle dynamite and stuff, because they built roads and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that man looked at his records, you know, and they needed people like that to know what they're doing. Yeah, because lots of people, it wasn't everybody knowed how to handle stuff like that.
No, yeah.
That was a good thing. Some of them talk about the one that was the President Roosevelt back then, but he just had to do what he could do. He started this welfare stuff, you know, these jobs and stuff for people.
Right.
I don't care what denomination he was or whatever.
Yeah.
He tried to help the people, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't the Democrat or the Republican, it's the person, what they do to help people.
Yeah.
You don't go by what they are.
Yeah, right. So did you ever have any, when you and Luce was married, did you ever have any jobs outside the home?
No, I worked, well, after the kids had all, you know, was gone, and I worked at the hospital for about 9 months. Cleo and them needed somebody to help me clean.
Yeah.
And I'd go, Clara would take me to school in the morning as she went to school, and then she'd, you know, bring me home with evening. Yeah. And that's the only time I ever worked. But I loved it. I liked it. But my husband didn't like for me to do it. But I did. I liked it. But the grandchildren started coming along.
Yeah.
And I had to take care of my grandchildren.
Yeah, I had to babysit them, yeah.
Matt and Doug, you know, there's 10 months and 3 weeks between them. You know, Ann was in Hawaii. That's where Matt was born.
Yeah.
William was in service.
Yeah.
And when he was born, he was about 6 weeks, 5 or 6, I believe 6 weeks. And he was 5 or 6 weeks old when they moved back from Hawaii. And they'd done call the week before to see if she'd got home to come back to work at Clifton.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they called her after she got home. Then William, he didn't come on till later with the soldiers, you know.
Yeah.
And she had to come on. And so they called her and asked her. I told her, I said, no, she's not got here yet, but she'll be here tomorrow, I believe I told them. Anyhow, they called and she answered the phone. And she said, I'll wait till William gets home before I come back to work. And they told her, yeah. So, they're waiting on her to come back to work at Clifton. And they had a rule before she left. They said they had a rule, if you quit the job, you know, that plant hadn't been there long, that they wouldn't hire you back.
Yeah.
But that's calling before she got home.
Begging her to come back.
Yeah. And she stayed there till she retired.
Yeah.
She could have retired before she did.
Right.
But when Doug was born, Matt was just 10 months and 3 weeks old when.
Yeah.
And so I took care of them.
Yeah. What do you think some of the biggest changes? Of course, we've talked about a lot of changes, but between when you were young and today, of course, there's the obvious, the technology or the cars or whatever. But what's some of the other changes you think that you've noticed? The difference in people, or difference in, I guess, like you were saying, you don't make all your food, you go to the grocery store.
That's the biggest thing. Hardest McDonald's, whatever.
That's
it's
the biggest.
The thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you go, some of them say, reading down the side, they're going to go get something at one of the places, you know, or something other, and they come back, had to stand in line for so long, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing. I guess that is one of the biggest things. There's so many people. Well, that's, if they want to do that, that's their business. It don't bother me. And it's good to have places that you can run and grab stuff once in a while. But I like to cook my own taters and beans.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I do too. I cook to suit my own taste, yeah.
I like to make a big pot of soup. Mix up potatoes and all kind of vegetables and cook them in a pot. Ain't nothing no better than a big old pot of soup, cornbread.
Mm-hmm. That's a feast, yeah. That's a feast.
Lots of people like saltine crackers with the soup. I like cornbread as my soup.
Yeah, I like both, but I like corn. Can't beat cornbread. That could just be a meal by itself. Did you like cornbread and milk or cornbread and buttermilk, like to eat for a snack?
I drink buttermilk. I'd rather I had buttermilk than I had sweet milk.
Yeah.
I drink either one, but I like my buttermilk. I still do.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, cornbread. My husband did too. He liked his cornbread and milk.
Mm-hmm.
But now he took a piece of cornbread in his hand and his glass of milk in the other. That's the way.
That's how he did it. Instead of mixing it together.
Yeah, he didn't put it in his glass.
Yeah, yeah.
He carried it in his hand. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite things to grow in the garden? Did you like taters or corn or beans, or did you like growing cucumbers and squash and tomatoes? Or
Oh yeah, I just liked all the vegetables.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess y'all saved your seed from year to year.
Yeah, we used to did, but I ain't got no seed now. I had some seed at the house in my refrigerator, and I went home and they'd got another refrigerator, and they took my seeds out and done something with them.
Oh,
and
no.
I don't know what they did with them.
Well, maybe somebody's got them.
Yeah, I love okra and all kinds of stuff like that. I love fried okra.
Mm-hmm.
I like stewed okra. I like cooked cabbage and slaw. You can't eat beans and taters unless you got slaw.
It goes good together, don't it? Yeah.
And a sandwich, I like a hot, if I get a weenie, I like slaw on my
I do too.
weenie.
Yeah, I just soon not have one if I don't have slaw to go on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to can. I like to put up canned stuff. But I used to like to go pick blackberries, but the blackberries about all killed out. People cut the blackberry bars down instead of letting them grow. Used to, they'd grow, all around the banks and places. Mm-hmm. You go pick your bucket full of blackberries in a little while.
Yeah.
Nothing no better.
Yeah.
To make a pie or whatever.
And they're hard to find. Did you use crocks much, like to make kraut or pickled beans and corn or anything?
Oh yeah, I used to have to make a barrel of pickled corn and kraut too. My husband had to have pickled corn with pickle it on the cob,
Mm-hmm.
And you can cut it off and fry it if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the way he liked it. Yeah.
Mm.